Hey guys, Mystic Diamond here, and welcome back to class. This is the 13th class for those of you that are going through your Path of Ascension and Process of Transcendence. And yes, I need to make a little bit of an announcement before we do move further. Going forward, there will be one more class that I'm doing at this particular level. So if we were to look at this as a school as far as levels of education, so to say, stick with me on this, we were to look at, say, primary school / elementary school, high school, university, college, whatever you call it. We are going through the foundational aspects at the moment. I have one, and so we're doing the primary elementary levels at the moment. I have one more video left to go for the primary elementary levels, and then we move up to high school stuff. So things are going to get more and more technical as we do move along, and higher self is now making the connection of why I need to say that. This is why this video becomes not only important but rather essential for you to learn before we do move over to the more technical side of things, because today we're going to be talking about current Ascension terminology and the importance of learning the correct terminology so that we are not sidetracked from our path, and so that we're not held back by things that are not relevant to our path at the moment. Now, the fact of the matter is, and I'm going to try and say this as neutrally as I possibly can, there is a ton of information out there when it comes to the Path of Ascension. You only need to go to Google or to YouTube or whatever it is to see a plethora of information out there. But just because there is a lot of information out there doesn't necessarily mean it is correct. It's interesting. One of my karmics, believe it or not, wow, can't believe that's coming back through to me, had a great saying that I always, regardless of how things went there, I always appreciated. And the saying was, it's better to know a little about a lot compared to a lot about a little. And he's right in many ways. One thing that we need to take on board and keep in mind with this, is that because there is so much information out there, not all of it is for your process. It's really not. So some of the things that I'm going to bring up in this video may be a little bit confronting. They may have you questioning certain things about your path, so I just wanted you to be mindful of that. I'm going to be bursting quite a few bubbles as we do go along, and I'm sure that some of you are going to be like, well, hold up a second, because I was taught this, and now you're saying this. The thing is, and I can put it down to, well, everything that is incorrect terminology that's out there at the moment. The thing is that there was the old path of transcendence and path of ascension and process of transcendence. That path is no more, okay? I don't know how to better explain that to you watching this, but there was an old path of ascension, okay? And that path is done. Those beings that went through that path, they did what they needed to do. They collapsed out certain timelines. They went through certain things that we don't go through in the current path. That path came to an end. We are now in the current ascension cycle, and because of that, there is terminology that's floating around, that's been around for a very long time, and there is this misconception out there. And again, I'm going to remain neutral on this because I'm mindful of the fact that a lot of you may not have known this when you were doing your research. There's a misconception out there that we need to appreciate and take on, two very different things, terminology that's been around since the beginning of the Path of Ascension, and this is just simply not the case. Appreciate? Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely appreciate the old Ascension path and how that worked, but we need to come to the realization before we can move up to the high school level of these classes that they have played out. And it's unfortunate that this terminology and these concepts are still being put out there for everyone to see and believe that this is still happening when that's not the case. And, you know, so much peace, love, and blessings to those who do a bit of research online, believe that they are on the path, and just, you know, spout out in a copycat way what they've found online from 1992, 1986, whatever it may be. And the fact of the matter is, because things continue to evolve, these terms and these concepts are no longer applicable. These timelines have been collapsed. We're no longer working through those timelines anymore. Things have been updated. Because that's the thing. Because energy is so constant, and sorry for the long intro, but it's very necessary here. Because things are so constant when it comes to energy, to still be dealing with something, with a concept that began in the mid-50s, to do with the path, okay, because I need to make that distinction, to do with the path, doesn't make sense, because they are stale energies that have already been dealt with. Those timelines have already been collapsed. So, believing that we're dealing with them again puts up a blockage wall, because they're not there anymore. And so the belief and the incessant perpetuation, if you will, that we are still dealing with these things does cause that blockage, because it's not actually what's going on anymore. And when I get to the first example of this, you will very much understand what I'm saying. Whether you agree with it or not is completely up to you, but I need to be telling you the truth of the situation. And I've said to you guys before that these classes are me telling you what you need to know as opposed to what you want to know. And I can't very well say that and then backpedal and say, oh yes, every single concept that's out there is true, because it's not going to help me, because I'm not telling the truth, and it's not going to help you guys, because I'm not adequately preparing you for what is to come. So take out your notebooks, take out your pens, and let's get on to the current terminology when it comes to the current path of ascension and process of transcendence. Alright, so I've actually been guided to write this stuff out as we do go along, as opposed to pausing and writing it. Forgive the whiteboard, because it's not because it's not stable and it knocks about, as you can see. You might see that happen throughout the course of this video, but I completely understand that they want me to discuss it with you and write it out as we do go along. Alright, so let's get the biggest one out the way first, because this one seems to be the biggest bubble burster that I've come across. I have only seen maybe a handful of people either immediately accept this or not adversely react to it. The majority of those that I do one-on-one guidance with, that I might do a reading for, or whatever it is when I explain this particular ascension term, the majority of them will have a bit of a rah-rah, because they have been led to believe otherwise. And this is where a big part of this class is going to be exposing the incorrect way that you've been led to learn something. And it's only incorrect because it's the old process, so therefore it's not current for you. And yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is, especially with this one, it's still being taught to this very day, and bless all those people that are teaching it, because it is not applicable. Not only the term, although that's what we're focusing on today, but also the process with which the term is being explained. So let's get right on to the very first big one that's going to make 95% of you watching this video go, what? Yep, here we go. I hope you can see that. Twin flames. Okay. Let's move through this as quickly as I can, but explaining it as simplistically as I can. Twin flames, twins, twin, twin soul, anything with the word twin in it. really, because there are many variants of the term twin, and I know that 95% of you have already clicked away from this video, and that's totally fine. You know, you will come to this information when you are meant to come to it, but for those of you who are sticking with me, good job, because I don't want you to be held back by something that's no longer relevant. The twin flame concept came about in the first path of Ascension process, okay? So it did exist at one time. I'm not denying it. I'm not saying someone plucked it out of thin air and, you know, they're just now randomly using it. No, no, no. The twin flame process was a process. It was there. It was something to be worked through. But the twin flame process has come to an end. And this is why I not only don't use these terms, but I dissuade and discourage, thank you, others from using this term because it is not the current term. Now, yes, there are many reasons as to why people still discuss twin flames, and the biggest reason that I have been led to believe in all of my research, because I've done a ton of research on this. Being a second waver, part of my responsibilities include doing corrective guidance, and so I have seen a ton of information on websites, I have seen a ton of YouTube videos on twin flames, I've seen a ton of things on Twitter, Facebook, group pages on Facebook, other forms of social media where people talk about twin. Okay, the biggest reason that I've come across why people still use this term is because it is known, and it grabs your attention. Okay, twin flames is a very popular concept, but unfortunately, and here's where things get tough for me and my fellow angelics who are trying to teach the correct terminology, unfortunately, because it's such a popular concept, new people that decide, and again, I'm really going to be as angelic as I can be here and not judge, but it's very hard for me not to. People who decide they're going to teach the path of ascension, a process of transcendence, as opposed to those who are guided to. I've been guided to teach this to you guys. There are people out there who just decide they're going to teach it because they want to. Which, bless, you know, do you want to come take over my class? Because I've got enough to do, but anyway. Moving on. They discuss twin flames, I've seen most of the time, because this is the way to get people's attention. Okay? I'll even see people on Twitter that will hashtag something twin flames, or twins, or twin souls, or whatever it is, because it gets attention, because it is a common term that is used. But we are here to stamp this term out, because it may be popular, it may be common, it may be a great way to get a lot of people on board with what you're trying to do, but it's not current anymore. The twin flame cycle is over. It's not happening at the moment. And so the correct term is counterparts. Okay? Counterparts is the correct term. We are no longer on the path of ascension seeking out our twin flame. Okay? We are on the path of ascension and process of transcendence, where part of that includes, not all of it, definitely not all of it, but part of it includes our counterpart. And what we come into with our... we've already done that class, and if you haven't seen it, feel free to go and have a look at it. But, you know, where we come into our counterparts pre-activation, if we do, the energetic work we do with them, meeting them for the first time energetically, coming into union once we have ascended. But it's not twin flame, and from what I have seen on twin flames, the concept of twin flames doesn't exist anymore, okay? Yes, I know the main... Okay, how are we putting this? I know of the old concept of the twin flames and how that worked, but you gotta love, and, you know, it's not just when it comes to Path of Ascension. I'm sure you've seen it many times yourself, because it happens. How people will watch something, read something, hear something, and then they will put it out there as though they've come up with the idea themselves, and it becomes Chinese whispers, which... bless, because the things that people say about twin flames these days, there are differences between the twin flames that were, when twin flames did exist, in comparison to what they're saying now. Very different, and also what they're saying now, as I've said, twin flames, it's not a current concept, guys. I wish I could sit here, and it'd make well, I wouldn't say it would make my job easier, it wouldn't, but I would be able to help a lot more, because people are susceptible to the twin flame process. But again, I would not be speaking my truth, and I would not be assisting you guys if I just laid down and played dead and said, yeah, twin flames, that's what it's all about, guys, let's talk about twin flames. No, it's not. It's the counterpart process. Things that are included in twin flames are the runner and the chaser. We don't have this with counterparts. This is something that is perpetuated by those who discuss twin flames. Again, I'm going to try and stay as neutral as I can. The runner and the chaser. No. Divine feminine, divine masculine, and they're not twins, okay? That's another thing that we need to understand. Part of the reason why this concept, and especially this terminology, which is the focus of this video, is the terminology, why this terminology is not correct for the current path of transcendence and process of, path of ascension and process of transcendence, is because our counterparts, we're not twins. We are not twins in any way, shape or form. We are divine masculine and divine feminine. And if you want to move higher than that terminology, which is correct, but if you want to move higher than that, it is king and queen, not twin. Okay? We're not twins. We're not. Yes, we do things that mirror each other. Yeah, sure, we do. But then there are the other things that we do that are individualistic to our own path, and then there are the other things that we do separate to our counterpart when we're together to complete each other. The yin-yang explains this the best. Even though it's not called yin-yang parts, it is called counterparts, the yin-yang does explain this best, where you have all the black on one side and then the white dot in the middle, or all the white on one side and the black dot in the middle. They're not twins. The yin-yangs are not twins. Not at all. One is fully black with a white dot and one is fully white with a black dot. They're not twins. So this process is incorrect, but more to the point, the terminology of, no matter how you put it, if you include the word twin. Twin, twins, twin flames, twin souls, twin ladybugs, I don't know. I mean, whatever it is, twins is not correct. So we're trying to cut this out, and as we do move on to the high school level of these classes, we need to come to this realization, and I know it's tough, and if you are someone who has studied twin flames for years or many months or whatever it is, you will need to go and purge this to be able to move forward, because it is not the correct concept. And bless all of those who are putting that information out there. Now the reality is, and I'm sorry to focus so much on this one, but it's because of how big it is that I need to focus on this for you guys. The reality is that some of the people who discuss twin flames are humans who are looking up information and going, oh, yay, I can relate this is easy. And then there are others who are demonics, AIs, that are putting out this information to take you off the path. And that is why it becomes very important for me and my fellow angelic 2nd to 5th wavers, and even the first wavers, to put this stuff out there for you guys, saying, hold up, please don't get taken or pulled off the path because you're buying into a concept that is not current. So please, whatever you do not use the terminology twin flames. Do not buy into the concept of twin flames, because this is not how it works. We are dealing with counterparts, and as far as the two are concerned, whether you're looking at twin flames from when it was a thing back in the old Ascension process, or if you're looking at how people are explaining it now, they are two completely different processes, where the only thing they have in common is that you have another out there, but everything else is completely different. So please learn this one first. It's not twin flames, it is counterpart. They are two completely different things. This one is not currently relevant. This one is. Okay? Alright. Next thing. Because bless the humans, if twin flames wasn't enough, here we go. Here's another big one for you. Bless them. Bless them all. I have no issues with them using this term. But the term psychic is human. It's not a Path of Ascension term. So if people email me for one-on-one guidance and they say, I'm a psychic, I think, oh, that's lovely. It's the human terminology. It's not the Process of Ascension terminology, not the Path of Ascension or Process of Transcendence terminology. Psychic is human. It's a human concept. And the big issue that I have with the term psychics for someone like me, because there have been times where people have asked me, are you a psychic? Or, bless my catalyst, who has said, you're not a psychic, which, bless my catalyst, because he's right. I'm not a psychic. No, definitely not. A psychic is someone who has either clairvoyance, or they have claircognizance, or they have a combination of both. So they might have both of them. If you have more than claircognizance and or clairvoyance, you are definitely not a psychic. Okay? You are an angelic, or you are being on the path of ascension. Clairsentience is not a psychic ability. Well, none of them really are a psychic ability. Again, psychic is a human label. But if we were to go off what humans refer to psychics as, psychics don't have clairempathy, they don't have clairsentience, they don't have clairgustance, they don't have clairsent. Psychics, the stigma, which is the biggest issue, is the stigma of the word. The stigma of a psychic is someone who will read you and tell you your future and knows everything about you. Knows everything about you, claircognizance, okay? Can see certain things, maybe the other side or whatever, which also encapsulates mediums to a certain degree. So let's write this down too. Medium. Sorry for all the tapping of the whiteboard. I told you guys already, it's not stable. Okay. Psychics have claircognizance and clairvoyance, or one or the other. Mediums have clairvoyance, but if you have all your clairs on, to be called a psychic or a medium is, I'm going to try and say this neutrally too, it's belittling, because it's not what you are. You're not a psychic or a medium. You're a being on the path of ascension and process of transcendence. So, therefore, when it comes to these terms, I'll use the term I use for my path. Angelics. Okay? You will never see me claim that I'm a psychic, and you'll never see me claim that I'm a medium. And yeah, I mean, my human, I guess, could do that. I could go out in public and say, I'm a psychic. Yep, I'm a psychic and I'm going to read cards for you. But it's completely unbecoming of being an angelic, because this is not what I am. I am... And the interesting reaction, especially from humans, which humans that are coming into their awakening, that I'm going one-on-one, when I say, I'm not a psychic, they go, oh, so you're human. No, it's actually the other way around to what they're thinking. I'm not a psychic, I'm actually more than that, and I'm an angelic. And more to the point, if you'd like to know what I am, not that you asked, but I'm putting it out there for you, I am a second wave divine feminine angelic cherubim. There's a lot going on with me. So to say that I'm a psychic or a medium, no. Do I have clairvoyance and claircognizance? Yes, I do. Absolutely, they're part of my angelic abilities. For mediumship, do I have clairvoyance? Yes, but it's part of my angelic abilities. I'm not limited to this. And also, if you are going through your path of ascension or process of transcendence, it's not the correct term to use either, because they're human terms. And so this is the terms, when I say human terms, they're terms that humans recognize, that humans use. You must be put into a box, you're a psychic. No, but bless you, that's fine. And as I was touching upon before, the stigma is, and this is the biggest issue we have, that myself, my fellow angelics have with the term psychic is the stigma that comes with it. You're a psychic. Okay, so you can read me, you know everything about me, and next thing you know, they've reeled off 10 things that they're expecting you to do because of this label. Okay? Bless human conditioning, bless human terminology. It's not the terminology we use. I use angelics. If you are not an angelic, but if you are walking your path of ascension or going through your process of transcendence, you are not a psychic or a medium either. No, 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 no. You are a being on the path of ascension or process of transcendence. You are not a psychic or a medium. Okay? And again, the reason why these are used, and again it comes back to the intent with which they are used by most, is because they are recognizable to humans. Which is what it is. But it doesn't make it correct just because it's recognizable to humans, it does not make it the correct terminology. It's not. Twin flames, counterparts, psychic, medium, angelics, or being on the path of ascension. Not these. We don't use these, okay? And as I do progress forward and do the high school level videos where things get really technical, you will not see me use these terminology. I mean, you don't see me use them at the moment anyway. Twin flame really triggers me. Psychics triggers me as well. Medium, not so much, but still it is a human term. Okay? Alright. Okay, so the next one, while we're bursting all these bubbles, is one I've already explained before. Sorry, we're a bit slanty. Okay. Spiritual. Okay. I feel that if any term is more popular than twin flames, it would be spiritual. And yes, I used this term too prior to being activated. I did. Oh, it's a spiritual process. It's all about spiritual experiences. No, it's not. Yeah. So if you're part of the 10% that's still remaining and haven't left, thank you for remaining. Spiritual is not an ascension term. Now, let's make a distinction because there is only one distinction to be made here. The only distinction to be made from spiritual is spirits. Spirits is a term. Spirits is the correct, respectful, thank you, respectful way to refer to ghosts. Ghost is a human term. Spirits is the respectful way to refer to ghosts. So, I'm a psychic and I see ghosts. I mean, I'm sorry to put on that accent. It just flew out of me. But yeah, I'm a psychic and I see ghosts. No, 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 no. I'm a being on the path of ascension who sees spirits through my clairvoyance. This is the correct way to say it. Okay, and not only are we... Thank you, because Higher Self is pushing this through too. Not only am I hoping to educate you on this, but the plan, eventually, when you get to the monad or once you have ascended, is that you're actually going to be putting this out there too. So I'm not just teaching this to you for you, but no matter if you're a 2nd, 3rd, 4th or 5th waver, once you've ascended, you'll be passing this stuff on also. And the goal here is to collapse out these terms, okay? The goal is that one day, these terms will not be used anymore, and these terms are going to be the terms that are used. And the terminology that humans will start using will be counterparts, angelics, spirits. Okay, now, let's go back to talking about spiritual. I am having a spiritual experience. I am having a spiritual journey. Okay, there's only one time when this word is acceptable in the current path of ascension. And that is if you go to a church or you're part of a religion. Praise you, bless you, you're absolutely right. You're going to church, you're part of a religion, let's say you're a Christian, because that encompasses quite a few. Let's say you're a Christian. Wonderful. You're a practicing Christian, you go to church and you're having a spiritual experience. Yes, you're absolutely right. Why? Spiritual is a religious terminology. It's a religious terminology. The path of ascension, contrary to popular belief, the path of ascension is not a religion. And it's not a spiritual journey. It's not at all. Spiritual is religious. This is an energetic journey, not a spiritual one. Okay? While you may pray to God, just to give an off-the-cuff example, while you may pray to God, and that's wonderful if you do, yay, bless you, that's good if you do. This is a spiritual thing. Okay? If you're communing with your team, we call that energetic, not spiritual. And not to confuse the two terms. You wouldn't say, I have a spiritual experience because I'm seeing the spirits. No. Unless you're in a religion, yes, but on this path, away from religion, no. Okay? What we use instead, I'm having a spiritual journey, no. I am having an energetic experience. This is an energetic journey about energies, not about spiritual. And this takes us back to Ascension 101. You are a soul having a human experience. You are not a human having a spiritual experience. And this term gets to most, and that's why I'm saying this one's more common than even twin flames, which is very common in and of itself. Spiritual gets and trips people up the most. I have seen very learned people use the term spiritual. And does it get to me? Yes, it does. Yeah, it does, because spiritual is religious, and this path is not a religious path. Now, that's not to say that you may not be religious while you're on the path, because you can be. But what needs to be realized is that they are, while they may go hand in hand for you, they are two separate things. So again, if I go back to Christianity, there is Christianity, there is the path of ascension. If you choose to meld the two together, that's totally fine. But the thing is, the path itself is not a spiritual path. It's not. It's the religious side that is spiritual. The path is energetic. Okay? Alright, just a moment. Alright, sorry guys, I wrote something down while I was pausing. I didn't mean to, but I just wrote down soulmate. Okay. Here's where things get a little bit more technical and a little bit more tricky. Soulmate is not a path of ascension or process of transcendence term. It's not. There is a similar term that is used. Okay. I'm going to write that down over here. Can we not do that? Running out of room here. Can you read that? Soul connections. Alright? Soulmate is not a path of ascension term. Soul connections is. Soulmate is the human definition of counterparts. Formerly, not now, but formerly, known as twin flames. Okay? So it's soulmate, twin flames, counterparts. Soul connections, which is different to what humans define it. Sorry, my hair's triggering me. Soulmates, which is different to Soul connections is different to what humans define a soulmate to be. Humans define a soulmate to be the one that you are meant for. And that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, prior to my activation, absolutely, I use this term all the time. Looking for my soulmate, the one that I'm meant to be with. Absolutely. Yes, but we use the term counterparts. Soul connections is not soulmates. So there is some confusion with that too, where some people would say to me, can you talk to me about my soul, quote-unquote, mates? No, that's not the term that we use. We use the term soul connections. And soul connections is something that we will go into as we do go along. It is a high school topic, and we will go into that. To give you a long story short, soul connections are connections that your soul made prior to you being born and were added to your soul's contract. These are soul connections, not soul mates. No. And soulmate is the human term for the one you're meant to be with. Counterpart. Counterpart. Not soulmate, certainly not twin flames, but also not soulmates, and not confusing it with soul connections. Okay? Alright, what else? Oh bless, I nearly forgot another really big bubble burster. So if you're still with me, here's another one. Let's see if you remain after this one. Bless those who use the term intuition. Peace, love, and blessings to them. It's not the correct term, but again, it's one of those popular terms like twin flames and psychics and spiritual, okay? But it is another big one, like spiritual and twin flames are, a very big one, that people use a lot of the time. There is a misconception that this is the correct term, as with twin flames and spiritual, okay? So that's how that relates there. Intuition is a human term, as is, which this always surprised me, as is ego. I was always surprised by ego, especially. I'm going to get back to intuition, but I was always surprised by people accepting the word ego as a term to use on the path of ascension. Ego is absolutely a human term. It's not to say that we don't have ego, because our human does, but it's a human term. It's not a path of ascension term. And it always gets to when people say, oh, you know, this is about ego. No. 9 times out of 10 when people say this is about ego, that quote, no. This is actually about your soul's contract, not about ego. Okay, 9 times out of 10 it's about the soul contract, but humans who want to discuss this term are using a term that other humans know. And bless them, because they want to push humans who aren't ready to be on the path of ascension. And that's fine. You know, no judgment, they can do what they want to do, but ego is not a term. Honestly, ego is a term to delete out of your vocabulary the moment that you've been activated. Please don't use this term anymore when it comes to the path of ascension or process of transcendence, because it's human. It's human, okay? Ugh, bless, because my higher self is doing the whole... Yeah. It's human. It's not path of ascension. But let's get back to intuition! Bless intuition. Okay, so... You are very intuitive. You are an intuitive psychic. This comes back to your intuition and how you're developing your developing. There's another one we need to write down. Developing your intuition. Give me a moment to put developing down. It all just sort of tree branches. Out and out. Snowballs, sorry. Not tree branches, snowballs. Out and out. Intuition. This is all about your intuition. Yes, no. Intuition is human. Again, one of the biggest questions you need to ask yourself is the terminology that I am hearing someone say human, or is it path of ascension related? And we'll get into that another day. Yeah. Is it human, or is it path of ascension related? Intuition. Yep. Intuitively knowing something... Oh gosh, I don't really have next to no room, but anyway. Is, say it with me everyone, claircognizance. Okay? Intuition is not intuition on the path of ascension. It is claircognizance. But because, I was about to say psychics there, and it's the complete wrong word. Wrong word, because the nickname is psych. Psychologists use the term intuition, it's the human term. No. It's claircognizance to varying degrees, okay? Yeah, because I'm trying to think, is it any other clairs, but no, it's not. It's claircognizance. Claircognizance, the ability to just know something rather than being told or having to research it. You just know. Claircognizance. Intuition is what the humans will say. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow, you're very intuitive. Or even, it could be clear empathy. Thank you, higher self. If the discussion is someone saying to someone who looks happy, oh, you're putting on a brave face. I actually know. I know that you're not doing that well right now, because I can feel it, even though you're trying to put on a brave face. And they go, oh, you're very intuitive, aren't you? Well, no, I just have clear empathy. Okay? Intuition, claircognizance, unless it's talking about something to relate to another clair. See, what I was taught, Ascension 101, is that with intuition we go back to the clairs. Okay? So if someone were to say anything about intuition, we just direct them back to the clairs. Okay? Yeah, back to your clairs. So, yeah, it comes across as intuitive, but as you and I both know, it's because of this clair that you have on, or a combination of these clairs that you have on, these abilities that you have. But 9 times out of 10, intuition refers to something that you just know without having to be told, and that is claircognizance. Okay? Yeah. Ego, which I feel like I can't say in my normal accent, because it's just so human, bless it. Yeah, ego... I'd rather use the term you're human compared to ego. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. There's the goosebumps. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. We can now write this down. Woo! Sorry, guys. Okay, there is no room here anymore, so I'm going to stop writing. You're human. Yeah, there's really no room on this board anymore. Alright. Ego. Okay. Oh, so... forgive the accent. My higher self can't help but push the accent through. Oh, so this is about your ego? No. This is about your little human. So, let's go with what we discussed in the last class, actually, about the ringing in the ears being a download, okay? Your human gets in the way, initially, because you're going, oh my gosh, what's the ringing in my ear? What's discussed most about ego is your ego gets in the way. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Can we not do that, please? Your ego gets in the way of things. Oh. No, it's your human that does. And yes, as we progress through the path of ascension, I really should do a class literally just on this, but I won't. I'll quickly explain it here. The goal, one of many goals of the path of ascension, a process of transcendence, is for you to not only recognize your human and your soul, so the two components, your soul and your human vessel, but it's also to decrease your human. And so we will get to a stage, okay, because I used to say this in Mystic Diamond 1.0, but now I'm starting to realise that I'm going to say that from high school and university / college level on. We get to a stage where we refer to the human as our little human. And the reason we do this is because we want to decrease the human and allow the soul to come through. So it goes from your human is da-da-da-da, or my human is da-da-da-da, to your little human is da-da-da-da, or my little human is da-da-da-da, okay? Ego is human. Yeah, and literally, not only ego is human, but ego equals human. Okay, so, you know you need to do this, but your ego's gotten in the way. No. You know you need to do this, but your human has gotten in the way. And it's still interesting because the example that they're showing me, which I'm not going to give away the identity of this person, but the example that they're showing me is of someone who doesn't even discuss soul contracts, let alone says the term human or soul. Yeah, bless that one. But that's okay, we'll move on. Alright, let's wrap this up, because I think this is more than enough of a head start for you guys. So please make sure for homework you're writing these terms out and writing the correct term, because in order to progress forward, we need to throw out the window the old Ascension terminology. It's not going to assist you moving forward, because it's not correct. And I really don't want to sit here and be the teacher with the ruler, you know, and be like, this is wrong, 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 wrong. I don't want to do that. But the fact of the matter is, this terminology is going to push you back. This terminology will keep you moving forward, okay? So you're here. This terminology will keep you here. This terminology will move you up, okay? Because especially when you consider it's not just the terms themselves, but there is a difference in what they are. And I know I'm sounding passionate here. I'm not trying to be, because I could be a lot more passionate right now, but I'm trying really hard not to be. There's a difference between them. So, let's quickly go through this and wrap this up. Twin flames, no. Soulmates, twin flames, old concept. Soulmates, human concept. Path of Ascension, process of transcendence, current process of transcendence, counterparts. Psychics, mediums, are human terms. The correct terminology to use is angelics, or a being on the path of ascension or process of transcendence. Yeah, I mean, I almost would almost advise that you would say angelics. If you have a counterpart, let's put it this way. If you have a counterpart, you're an angelic. Let's just get that right out the way. If you have a counterpart, you're an angelic. If you've been through every single soul core wound, you're an angelic. So, please don't belittle yourself by saying, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium. Even if you only have clairvoyance, please don't say, I'm a medium. Because that is not you speaking the truth. You are an angelic on the path of ascension and process of transcendence in the whatever wave and whatever divine who has the ability of clairvoyance. Okay? Psychic, clairvoyance, and claircognizance, but the same deal. I am an angelic, wave divine. I'm pointing here because I have waves and divines on this page. But, you know, I'm a third wave divine masculine angelic who happens to have claircognizance and clairvoyance. And so, while it is similar to being a psychic, still don't refer to myself as a psychic. I am an angelic. Okay? Spiritual. I'm going through a spiritual process right now. This is my blessed spiritual journey. If you are going to church, yes. Yes. While you're in church, while you're practicing your religion, yes. Absolutely right. Once you step outside of that religion and focus on your process of transcendence, no. It is an energetic experience. The only time we use any portion of the term spiritual is when we refer to the term spirits, which is a correct term. It is the respectful term for what humans call ghosts. Okay, where am I? Developing. Oh, I didn't go into developing. Okay, alright, I'll quickly go into it. Okay, developing. There are people who say that you need to develop your gifts. Oh, seriously? We're running out of time. Alright, gifts. I'm not going to write it down. Gifts, no. Incorrect term, because we don't have gifts. They were not given to us. We've always had them, not only in this life, but we had them in past lives as well, okay? Our soul always had these gifts, so it doesn't make sense that it would be a gift, right? Does that make sense? Our soul always had these gifts, so it's not a gift, because it wasn't given to us. We always had it. It's an ability and not a gift. Okay? And a gift is not... I guess the gift could be seen as a former terminology, because it was used at one stage. Yeah, that's right. But, yeah, it's an ability. Developing. Okay. We do not develop our gifts by actively doing some particular thing, like meditation or whatever else. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Okay, if anyone is giving you fear-mongering and saying that you're just not meditating hard enough, or give me $100 and I'll develop this gift right away for you, this is fear-mongering, please do not buy into it. I did a class on fear-mongering, but I got way too passionate about it and my higher self told me to delete it. I got really intensely passionate about it because it affects me, and it affects my higher self, fear-mongering. So I did have to delete that before I could post it. But yeah, no. We don't actively develop our gifts. Our abilities, yeah, see, because human side, yeah. We don't develop our gifts. Our abilities are heightened if they are contracted to, when they are contracted to. It's not something that we do by drinking a certain drink, using a certain crystal, doing a certain meditation. Not at all. Don't let anyone fear-monger you into, oh, it's just because you're not doing this. No. The simple reality is, it's because it hasn't been contracted to occur yet. Okay? Please don't let them put you down with that. Intuition, claircognizance. Okay? Claircognizance, or whatever clair it pertains to, 9 times out of 10, intuition, claircognizance. Ego, human/little human, depending on where you're at. Soulmate for humans, correct term is counterparts. Soulmates being used in the sense of path of ascension, a process of transcendence. The correct terminology is soul connections. Okay, and not soulmates. Alright, I hope this has covered more than enough. We've gone for about 50 minutes, which I really did not intend to do. But anyway, thank you for being here. There's the bell. I'm going to let you guys go. Peace, love, and blessings. If there is anything that you would like to know more about to do with this, please don't hesitate to email me at mysticdiamondguide@outlook.com. For homework tonight, please make sure you write down these terms in a way that reminds you not to use them, because it is slowing you down on your process. Okay? It's slowing you down to a point where it's blocking you, because this is not what we're currently dealing with, despite popular opinion. Just because something is popular does not make it true. Okay? And this is a very big point to keep in mind. Just because something's popular does not make it true. Okay? You look at things like, say, if you read the paper or an article online, I mean, paper takes me back to the old days, but anyway, you're reading an article online with someone being quoted as saying something. A friend of this celebrity said this. Really? I mean, I'd rather prefer to hear it out of the horse's mouth, but because something is printed, there's this conception that it's true, and thank you, and that's why you're putting that through. Just because something is printed online does not necessarily make it true, and so we have twin flame psychics, blah, 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 blah. No. And just because it's popular doesn't make it true. Yes, these terms are growing in popularity, but our goal as 2nd to 5th wave angelics is to collapse these timelines. It is going to be a very tough task to do, but that does not make it impossible. We are all in this together. So for homework, please write down these terms to ensure you don't use them, and to use the replacement terms. Counterparts, angelic spirits, energetic, your human, claircognizance, soul connections. These are the correct terms to use. Alright, letting you guys go with peace, love, and blessings. Please make the decision to make love and not war. And give someone you love a big old hug today. There's the bell. I'll see you at the next class. Mwah. Bye, guys.